Like people,
Absolutely.
what about, speaking of all these things people recognize you on, I mean, I have to ask, I mean, you do cover current topics on The Real. What do you think of Kim and Pete Davidson?
What do I think of them? I
Like as
feel
a
like
match?
I feel like she seems happy. And so I'm like, bravo. Like I'm always for someone's happiness. Pete, I've got to be honest, I think he's cute. I think he's cute. I am the kind of girl that totally falls for funny. I love a guy with a dope personality, funny, edgy. I love a guy that's going to encourage me to be who I am and is going to kind of let me let my hair down, have some fun. Like he seems like he doesn't care. Like he's not for the Hollywood shenanigans. He's very straightforward. He don't like, and I feel like that energy is just beautiful. So I'm into it.
And he seems like very laid back.
Yeah, like I feel like he's the kind of guy that if I dated him, that he'd give you like the kind of pep talk that would make you think like I can do anything. Like I feel like he'd be like, girl, stop, like go kill it. You're amazing. And that, first of all, I think Kim deserves that. So yeah, I'm happy for her.
See, this is why you're happily married. You're figuring out like season 2 of like, and just like that, you just, please give me some relationship advice over here.
Marry a guy that makes you laugh. Marry a guy that you actually like. I was just talking to my friend about this. She's like, I don't know, it just seems like love doesn't last. And I was like, well, the in-love experience may not last. That's going to come and go, and there's going to be waves of that. But marry someone that you actually like and that you actually love and that you'd want to be their friend even if you never got married to them. Like this is someone you just want in your life forever. And I think that that's really important. I think we don't put as much on that. We put things on like, how much money does someone have? What do they look like? Are they a good look when I stand next to them? Do they turn me on? Do I feel butterflies? Is it the hottest, greatest sex of my life hanging off the ceiling? Why, yes, I would appreciate that. And that is lovely and great. There's so much other things that matter just as much as hanging off the ceiling.
That's
Not more
true.
than, just as much.
That's true. What about, I know you guys just talked about this on The Real. What do you think of Bennifer? Are you here for it?
I was not here for it because similar to the Sarah Jessica Parker thing, I felt like, oh, Ben was the one that broke her heart. And I just wanted her to be like, never again. But we just saw that she did People magazine and she seems to be really happy. And the thing that annoys me is that people are annoyed that she once again is gushing and, putting all their business out there, telling, people don't like that about her, but I'm like, that's who she is. Like, that's genuinely who she is. And I love that Jennifer loves love. And she should be able to enjoy that however she chooses to. Granted, some are saying she could learn her lesson from like the past. I don't think Ben loved that kind of attention as much. But I think she's finding a good balance there. And I'm just happy for her. I love that she's happy.
And like, right, what is wrong with someone that just loves love and can't get enough? Like,
people are mad about it. They're like, why does she have to gush? I'm like, oh, stop being mad. Don't be a hater.
Like to have so many things not work out and still have a positive attitude. Isn't that like what we all aspire to be?
I'm like, bravo, girl. They're like, she was just gushing about A-Rod. I'm like, well, sweetie, she's moved on. And here we are.
Maybe you just have to lose the icon, the goddess that is J.Lo to understand sometimes, like, I've lived all these years now, realizing I had the best thing back then. Yeah. I am not letting go.
I was looking at Ben like, what? If you gonna leave J.Lo, none of us have a chance.
I was not here for it either, but I am living for it now.
Yeah.
Listen, I turn to The Real for all of my, that's where I get a lot of my pop culture, what's going on.
Thank you.
You guys cover it all. I mean, speaking of couples too, and then we'll move on. I mean, are you going to be getting an invite to the, Kourtney and Travis wedding?
I would love that. That would be awesome. I just love Kourt so much. Like, she's one of my closest friends. And I just think like her happiness means everything. And she's so happy. And I know that it's hands down going to be the most stunning event of all time. Like, I just know it.
Listen, so, yeah. Kris Jenner's involved. So, I mean, you can't go wrong, right?
Love them.
What do you love best about your day job on The Real?
what I love most about my day job on the real, honestly, it's not the pop culture stuff. Like, I know that sound like there's some days when I'm just like, I actually don't care about this at all. Like, I don't care to give my opinion on it. I don't, and that's genuine, like that's really real. There are days that I'm just like, why, you know, but it is my job. And there are people that want to hear some of the more salacious things, but not my favorite part. My favorite part is when I actually get to share personal stories and hopefully encourage and uplift somebody with things that I've gone through. And in those moments, explain like, you know, whether it was a heartache that I went through and I had to learn from, and I had to learn that I need to love myself more than I love my significant other, or learning that, like, you know, we hear all of this about fake it till you make it, but I love the idea of like, what about just being authentically who you are? Like, I love those moments where I get to share my heart and hopefully encourage and uplift somebody. So that's my favorite part about my daytime job.
I think that's why the show works though, because like it has everything in it. You have these touching moments, and then you deal with pop culture, which sometimes is salacious.
I love that we try to like tell you the story and then circle it back to our own personal experiences. I don't want to sit there and just like talk crap about people. Like, honestly, God, that's like my least favorite. There are days when I'm like, this is cringy, but I feel like there are other days where we'll literally say, hey, these are the facts of this story. Someone's getting divorced. There's a legal battle for their kids, right? Let's just say, I don't know if that's a real story we covered, but right. And then someone goes, well, I know as a child of divorced kids, this is how I felt as the child. And it meant so much to me that my parents got, you feel what I mean? Where it's not like I'm going to sit there and tear apart a story that I'm not living. Instead, I'm going to tell you the facts of what we know. And I'm actually going to share my personal experience as a child of divorced parents. So that's what I love most.
Well, that's why you're good at your job, because you're authentic and you add authentic value.
Thank you.
The last time you were here, I asked you what it was like working with the amazing Miss Garcelle Beauvais. And you said, you know, you were virtual and you never were in the same room. So now that you're commuting back and forth.
Maybe. Now I just sit and I talk with her in every commercial break. And I'm sure she's like, well, this girl just shut up. I feel like I'm just, I want to ask her about Real Housewives. I want to ask her about Kathy Hilton and what she's like. And I just pretty much ask her all the questions about life, love, having children. She also has shared with me like her journey of IVF and, you know, struggling for 5 years to have her sons. So I just sit and ask her a million questions all day long. And I'm sure she's sick of me.
She's like, honey, the day's over. I have to go now.
She's like, sweetie, I'm coming out with a book. Read it, which she is.
She is, and we're all going to read it. Mm-hmm. Did you watch Housewives before, like working with Marcel? And do you watch it now?
I never watched not a single episode, which I'm like, what am I missing out on? And I did start watching her first season. If I'm honest,